Solutions to the end of year 2024 for 1G3 paper 1. In the first question, we must round the numbers to one significant figure before calculating out the answer. So 2.47 is rounded to one significant figure is 2. Significant figures are counted from the left. And the second number, 0.469, the first non-zero is on the left is 4. So we look to the right, so we round it to 0.5. And the first non-zero in 4.99 is 4. So look to the right and round up to 5, and so on. So the answer, if you have calculated correctly, is 0.0775. We should not round up the answer. Now, in the second example, we have to express the words into an expression. And when we talk about the square of 3r, we should be thinking about a square of side 3r. So therefore, subtracting the square of 3r from the sum of 5r squared plus 2r. And that gives us 5r squared plus 2r minus 9r squared, which gives us minus 4r squared plus 2r. In the second part, we have to divide the cube of 2q. Now, a cube, we should think of it as a cube of side 2q. So that means the cube of 2q, we want to divide it by the product of 2q squared by 8q4. So, 2q cube, which is 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, so it's 8q cube divided by 2 times 8 is 16, and q squared times q4 is q6. So now what we need to do is to cancel out the common factors. And our answer is 1 over 2q cubed. In the next sum, we have to look at a sequence, and what we should be looking out for is the number that gives us the order. So this is the number that gives us the order, because it's 0, 1, 2, 3. And we find that it is actually 1 less than the order number. Therefore, for T5, the order number is 5, so this number has to be 4. So it's 4 squared multiplied by, now this number here is obtained by taking 3 plus 2 will give us 5. 2 plus 2, 4. 1 plus 2 will give us 3. So we add 2 to 4 to give 6. Now the answer must be expressed in the same way as what the question has given us. That is the meaning of fifth line. We cannot give our answer as 96, which is wrong. Find the value of n. Now, we know that this number is actually the first number plus 2. That means n minus 1 plus 2 will give us 131. And simplifying it, n is 130. Now we have another sequence, and whenever we look at a sequence of numbers, the first thing to do is to find out the difference. So the difference is 3. So since it's consistently adding 3, therefore it follows the formula. Tn is the first term, which is minus 7, plus the difference times n minus 1. Now your answer must be simplified. So when we simplify it, we have 3n minus 10. Now, this number is in the sequence, and the p term, which is Tp, equals to 2, 3, 3. Now, since it's a term in the sequence, therefore it should follow the same expression. So therefore, we have 3p minus 10 equals to 2, 3, 3. And this works out to be p is 81. Now we move on to the next question. Is on symmetry, lines of symmetry. Now this looks like a square, so it should have the same lines of symmetry as a square, where we can draw it in. This will divide the figure into 2 equal half. This another. Then we have this and this. Okay, so there are 4 lines of symmetry. Rotational symmetry. The order is the number of times which we can turn to fit into the original position. So this is the original position. So there's only one possibility. 360 degrees will give us back only one turn. Now in the next question, we are given that John bought a car, and the price of the car include the GST. That means 135,000 is actually 109%. Therefore, to find the original price, we first divide by 109 to get 1%, and then we multiply by 100 to get the original, which is 1, 2, 3, 8, 5, 3.21. So answers to money is always in 2 decimal places. There are no fractions. Next, we have to calculate their monthly installment. Now, he has already paid a deposit of 5%, so his balance would be 95%. %95 of the price of the car, which gives us 128,250. Now the interest is based on the balance, so if you get the balance wrong, likely the interest will also be wrong, and the interest is 9.1% of the balance. And since he has borrowed for 84 months, which is 7 years, so we multiply by 7. And this gives us 81695.25. So now that we have the balance and the interest, then we can calculate the monthly installment. Which is the balance plus the interest divided by 84 months. That will give us the monthly installment, which is 2499.35. The next sum is on area and perimeter. So this is a simple sum. Just be careful that we need to consider that we are taking the area of a semicircle, so there must be half pi r square, and r is 12 square. Minus away the area of the triangle, and the height of the triangle is 2.6. So it's half base is 3 times 2.6. So this gives us 222 if we round to 3 significant figure. Non-exact answer must be given to 3 significant figure. In the next part, we need to find the perimeter. Now there is an outside perimeter, external perimeter, and an internal perimeter. So the external perimeter is half again, half 2 pi r. And don't forget the diameter. And then the internal one is the triangle, which is 3 times 3. All right, so we have half 2 pi r is 12 plus the diameter plus the triangle internal. All right, so that works out to be approximately 70.7 cm. Now move on to the next sum. In the next sum, we have a substitution sum, and whenever we have substitution, we use brackets to substitute. So once we have the brackets, then we put in the number. B is minus 0.4, and then A is 3/4, and C is negative 2. Then we can make use of the calculator to get our answer. And if you have calculated correctly to 2 decimal places, the answer is 0.37. The next sum, we have to find the rate of the water. And since it takes 1.5 hours to drain 6750, so we can use this to find out the rate, which is in liters per minute. So we need to change the hours to minute, which is 90 minutes. So it's 6750 divided by 90, which works out to be 75 liters per minute. And the total time taken is 375,000 liters, and the rate is 75 liters per minute. So we divide by 75 to give us 5,000 minutes, and which have to be converted to hours and minutes, which is 83 hours and 20 minutes. Now, we have a sum on HCF and LCM and multiples and factors. Now, we need to find the smallest integer that can divide by A and B. So, the smallest integer that can divide by A and B. So, it must be a number that have the factors of A and B, right? So, therefore, what we need to do is to pick the bigger number, because the bigger number will contain the smaller number. So the bigger power is 2 to the power 7, followed by every number must be considered 5 to the power 6 and 7 to the power 195, which is the LCM. Next, we need to find the smallest integer x such that ax is a multiple of b. So that means ax must contain b. Now if we look at a and look at b, b has 2 to the power 7, but a only has 2 to the power 2. So what is missing is x. So we need to put 2 to the power of 5 here to create a 2 to the power 7, because that is where b has 2 to the power 7. So we need to create a 2 to the power 7. Now b also have 5 to the power 6. So we need to put in 5 to the power 6 since a doesn't have. And finally, 7 to the power 3 will give us 7 to the power 195, which is what b has. Right, so therefore x is 2 to the power 5 times 5 to the power 6 times 7 to the power 3. Next, we have to find the smallest integer k such that bk is a perfect square. So this is b. So k is the number that will make all the powers even. So currently the power of 2 is odd, so we need to introduce another 2 to make it to the power 8. Now, so 5 is also is already 5 to the power 6 is already even power, but then we need another 7 to create a 196, an even number. Therefore k must be 2 times 7. Right, this is k. Right, we have to leave our answer in index form, so we leave our answer as 2 times 7. Now here we have 4b. Is 4b a cube? Now 4 is actually 2 square, so this is actually 2 to the power 9. So now all the powers are multiples of 3, so therefore 4b is a cube. Right, now we move on to the next sum. Now this is a simple algebraic sum where we have a fraction divided by another. So what we need to do first is to change it to multiplication and invert the fraction after. So the next thing to do is to cancel out the common factor, and a cancel. Then multiply the numerator by numerator. We have a, denominator is 9, and b times b to the power 5 is b to the power 6. Right, in the next sum is on distributive law. We multiply 1/4 into the brackets. We have 3/4 m minus 1/4 multiply in plus and 6m over 5 plus 5 cancel, left 5 times 3, 15. Okay, so the like terms, 3m plus 6 over 5m, we need to make the same denominator, and that will give us 19m over 20. We have to leave the answer as an improper fraction. We cannot change it to a mixed number or a decimal. So, sorry, this is 39 over 20. plus 15n minus n is 14n. The next sum is on addition of fractions. When we add fractions, we need to make the same denominator, right? So in the first denominator, we don't have 4, so we multiply by 4 over 4 to give us over 12. Second one, we don't have 3 in the denominator, so we multiply by 3 over 3. So numerator 3 times 3 is 9. And denominator is 12. So once the denominator is the same, then we put it under a single denominator. Keep the brackets on, because that will remind you to change sign. So 4 multiply in, we have 8m plus 12 minus 9m plus 9. Okay, so simplifying it, we will have 21 minus m over 12. The next sum is on factorization. We have to factorize out the common factor, and looking at 1/3, yeah, 1/3 is common, so 1/3 is brought out. Pi is also common. Then looking at r square is common. H is not common, so that's all. Then now what is left here is h. Second one is 2r, and that's all. Now in the second sum, this is a factorization by grouping because there are 4 terms. So the first 2 terms doesn't have a common factor, but if we take out the second one, if we take out the common factor, phi is common, p is common, q is common. So we find that we have 2p minus 3q in bracket. So that means 2p minus 3q is a common factor. Now there are 2 terms in the question, so we should have 2 terms in the brackets. So what is left after we take out the whole 2p minus 3q is 1. Okay, so that you can check when you multiply in, you should get the same result. Next, in this sum here, you see that the first part did not the first part has a h square minus k, but the second part is k minus h square. So it is in reverse. So what we do is we need to take out the sign. When we take out the sign, which is a minus, minus times minus will be plus. So now we can switch the terms. So once the terms are exactly the same, then we can factorize it out. The next sum is on polygons, and we have to find the angle EDK. Now, if they did not mention that it is a reflex angle, then we have to take the other angle, which is an obtuse angle. And this angle is actually made up of the exterior angle of the 2 polygons. So therefore, in the first polygon, which is 8-sided, the exterior angle is 360 divided by 8, which gives you 45 degrees. And the second one is 360. There are 6 sides, so divide by 6, the exterior angle. That will give us 60 degrees. Okay, therefore now angle EDK is just the sum of these two angles. Next part, we have to find the angle DCE, and we first find the interior angle, which I have marked as E. So the exterior angle we found earlier on is 45 degrees. So the interior angle is 135. Alright, so we know that triangles CDE is an isosceles. Therefore, the angle that we want to find, angle DCE, is actually the 180 minus away 135 divided by 2. Okay, the reason is isosceles triangle. Right, that gives us 22.5 degrees. Now the next sum gives us an exterior angle of a regular polygon. Now the exterior angle of a regular polygon is given by the formula, which is 360 divided by the exterior angle. That gives us 25 sides. Now the reflex angle is actually made up of 180 plus the exterior angle, right? Therefore the reflex angle 180 plus 14.4, which is 194.4 degrees. Now we move on to question 13. In question 13, we have a sum on ratio, and we have the ratio between the eldest and youngest is 7:5, and the second to the youngest is 5:4. And we have to find the ratio that each son gets in the order of eldest, second, and youngest. To do that, we must first make a common, the youngest is common, so we must make a common ratio. So here I multiply both sides by 4, then I will have a 20. So we need to make the youngest here 20 by multiplying by 5. So now we have a common ratio. Therefore, our answer is the eldest 28 is to the second is to the youngest 20. Now to find this amount of the second son, the second son has 25 parts out of a total of 73 parts. So we have 25 out of 73 multiplied by the sum of money, and that gives us 125,000. So we need to find the percentage increase of the elder son when of the younger son when the elders give him 5,000. We must first find out how much does the younger son have, and he has 20 parts of 73. Which is 100,000. Therefore, the percentage increase, he has been given this extra 5,000 increase over his original, multiply by 100%. And that gives us 5%. And the next sum, we have to find the angle CDB. CDB is this angle here. So in order to find this angle, well, we know that the angle here, okay, let me call it A, and the angle A is actually 65 degrees, and this is opposite angles of parallelogram. Then now we know angle CDB is actually 65 degrees because these are base angles of isosceles. Right, now we need to show that FDB forms a straight line. We cannot use any rules to show that. We must find, to show that it is a straight line, we need to show that FDE and CDB are vertically opposite angles. So we need to find angle FDE. Right, so to find angle FDE, we first find the angle FED. So angle FED is actually 65 degrees. And this is corresponding angles. Parallel lines are ED parallel to AB. Okay, so now we can find the angle FDE. So angle FDE is 180 minus 50 minus 65, which is 65 degrees. Right, so this is the angle sum of triangle. So now we have shown that CDB is 65 and FDE is also 65. Therefore, since angle CDB equals to angle FDE, which are vertically opposite angles, therefore FDB is a straight line. Now, in the second part, right, we are given the area of the parallelogram and the area of the triangle CDB. Also given that DE is 4, this is 4 plus DC. So the area of the triangle, we need to introduce a height. Both the triangle and the parallelogram has the same height. For the triangle is half base is DC times the height. And the area of the parallelogram is just base times height. The base is 4 plus DC times the height. Okay, so here we see that the height is cancelled off. And now we can cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, then we have 12 DC equals 7 divided by 2 times DC. Okay, so solving this will give us DC is 7 and 5 over 13, or 7.38 cm. Now we move on to the last sum. So the last sum is on construction. So we always draw a rough diagram so that we know what we are constructing. So the side AD is 7 and the side BC is 5. So what we need to do is first to measure off the angles. The angle 95 and the other angle is 110 degrees. Next, we need to label the angles. And now we want to construct the side. When we want to construct the side, we need to take the measurement with our compass and draw an arc. Every side must be marked with an arc. So the next side is 5.5. So once again, we take the measurement from the ruler, 5.5, and then mark an arc of 1.5 to get the point C. We join the line. And label it A, B, C, and D. So the next thing we need to do is to draw the diagonals to find the position of T. And once we have done that, then we need to use our compass again to mark 5 cm for the point E. So we place our compass at T and use our compass to mark 5 cm from T with an arc, calling the point E. So we join the line because we need to measure the angle AET. So we use the compass, place it at E, and we find that the angle AET, which is in an acute angle, AET is 45 degrees. And this completes the discussion of the paper.